What is up, everyone? It's your boy Infrar-Ed. Welcome to the Scout Reports. Today I bring you an anime review of Joker Game, Episode 8. First and foremost, I gotta give credit where credit's due. When's the last time I clapped it up for Joker Game? It had to be episode 1 or 2, if ever. Now, was it the best episode? No. But what it did was show how good this series can be if they had more time, as this episode was part 1 of a 2-part episode. So if every episode was expanded like this one, the series in a whole would come off better, and maybe so many people wouldn't have dropped it after the 3rd or 4th episode, because it gave us more time to get to know who we're going to be with this week. It expanded on some of the details that we needed to know, and moreover, it just gave us more time, and it didn't have to be rushed to a conclusion in 15 minutes. Even though it's still some of those things there, because we know it's more to be seen next week, and that still needs to be said. We'll just have to see how things go. Everything just flowed a little bit better this week. So without further ado, let's get down to the breakdown. So this episode, we start off with the Japanese military, or the conglomerate that's plotting against D Agency. Remember, the agent or the commanding officer from episode 1 was plotting with his commanding officer in order to take down the D Agency. And we're back with them again as they are being briefed that it is a man from Japan who is leaking information to a British liaison, something called the Grand Strategy, which we don't know what it is yet, but it's pretty important. So much so that the Japanese military feel that this information must be either retained or somebody needs to be taken out before this message gets out. And they need it to be done quickly. They need to be done discreetly. And with that being said, they enlist the aid of the D Agency, which kind of makes me wonder why the D Agency would even take this mission after what happened with Sakuma in the first 2 episodes, and knowing, especially with Yuki knowing, I'm pretty sure he knows what the government's up to. Why would they choose to take this to begin with? But with that being said, there's our focal point of the episode as we go to the opening, which again, I must say is still opening of the season right now. Even though Kid Sniper's coming for his head, I just still enjoy this opening so much more because of the tone, the atmosphere. It just fits this type of series perfectly. It's just like a callback to a Bond theme or something like that. But without further ado, we meet up with our agent of the week, and this week we take place in Yokohama. So our agent this week's name is Gamo, and he is playing chess with the British liaison by the name of Graham. And they've played a lot of times. He must visit this guy frequently, as he said he's lost to him. He's beat him 15 times. He's lost to him 17 times, and they had 7 stalemates. Graham wants to play him once more before he's alerted by his wife that there is a man outside that's watching him, and he's been there for at least the past day or so, and she feels that he looks really suspicious. Gabo confirms that this guy may be a spy or something, because he had very dark skin except for his forehead, which was very light compared to the rest of his body. And by that being said, he must be a soldier who works outside most of the day or patrols outside, and the reason why his forehead is so light is because he has to wear his hat the entire time. So that being said, Graham's wife also suspects Gabo of being a Japanese spy as well. She just doesn't trust the Japanese right now because of the decisions that they're making heading into this war. However, Graham assures her that Gabo is not a spy. He's just a regular Japanese guy. He has nothing to do with the government or anything like that. He's just a simple man out there on business. With that being said, Gabo says he has to take his leave as he gets ready to leave for the day. And also, Graham's wife is getting ready to go out of town or go out on tour or something, wherever she does with her day. But he tells her to make sure she takes her umbrella so she doesn't, get too tan or get rained on or something like that. Now, things aren't always as they seem in Joker games, so something's either up with that umbrella or it's something up with the chess game. Either way, we now have our agent on the move. We have Graham back at home as he's even looking at this guy outside, and he walks away. He notices the guy walks away, and he says, "This guy's an imbecile. A spy would be more suave." You mean like the guy who just left your house? So maybe Graham knows more than we think he does, as he sends, I believe it's his butler, after Gamo, who follows him to a seedy part of town just like always, and he follows him into a casino. However, what's more shocking is that Gamo was actually waiting for the man, and his name is Cho, as the two are kind of acquainted with each other. So inside the underground casino, we find out that Cho let Gamo know that Graham has been very suspicious for the past week or so of everybody in his house. He's had them all followed at one point, as he seems to be hiding something. However, Cho doesn't know exactly what it is. With that being said, Gamo actually gives Cho some hush money. You know, he gives him 2 stacks of money and say, tell me what's going on and I'll make it worth your while, long story short. That's when he begins to spill the beans that Graham is getting ready to take a trip somewhere within a week, and he's suspicious of everybody around, so he's deeply guarding something. However, that is all he knows. However, this is when the plot starts to thicken, as even though Gabo just gave Cho like 2 stacks of money, he also says that Cho owes him $15,000, and that's a lot of money back then. As he even states, that's enough to be 5 years of salary for someone. And Cho needs to pay up, or he's about to pay this goon behind him to give him the beats. So, not wanting to get beaten, feared for his life, you know, at this point, Cho is literally begging to, like, you know, give him more time, give him another week. Gamo shuts it down by saying, "There's no way in hell you're going to have that much money in a week. So, go ahead and get this ass beating, or else." So that's when he kind of cracks a little bit and says, you know, please give me one more chance, give me 3 days, I'll do anything. Which of course is granted by a smile from Gamo, as he comes up with a plan saying that they're actually going to stake out this casino that they're in. He says that if he's basically blackmailing them, saying that if you drug this guard, we'll be able to go in, steal the money from the safe, and inside that safe is $40,000, which I will give you half of. So that'll take care of what he owes Gamo, and he still gets a little bit of pocket money instead. Of course, he wants him to do more of that as well, as he wants him to actually give him more access to Graham's apartment, or Graham's home. So what he does is he actually makes a key for Gamo so he can go in. This leads us to later on into the night, where Gabo is actually inside Graham's house, because he remembers back when he was talking to Graham that when they were playing chess, he kind of observed the type of person he is. He says that Graham, just like in chess, you can see his strategies. He says that Graham is a very simple man, and he's also a very determined man to do his goal. So he may make moves rashly, but at the same time, they're guarded at the same time. I mean, I don't really know chess too well, so can't really decipher what he was saying, but he's basically saying that Graham is desperately trying to find a way to escape, to get this information about this grand strategy out to someone before it's too late, because he's beginning to fear that someone's going to get to him before it's done. He noticed one time while he was talking to Graham that he kept looking at a photo, and if you kind of remember, that calls back to episode 1 with the American agent who kept looking at the flower pot. It's the same type of deal, which tips him off to go look behind this portrait, and behind the portrait was a safe that the key that Cho gave Gamo to use in the house was actually to open this safe, which had lots of documents in it. However, it was none of the documents that Gamo was looking for. So with that being said, he hears a noise and he hurry up and evades the house before Graham comes in and notices, as his wife noticed that there was a noise outside. He gets into the room and sees that no one's there, and he says nothing, just like I told you. However, his wife notices that the door was cracked open. However, when they go to the door, they see that Cho was the person who was there, so they thought he was just there doing his duties. However, he just really bought time for Gamo to escape, since he's still on his payroll at this point. It is here that we start to peel back the layers of Gamo this week, as even though it seemed like he didn't find anything in the safe, when he got outside, he did notice that one of the journals had something about Graham constantly mentioning his wife's umbrella, as we come to find out that this grand scheme or this grand strategy or whatever we're looking for is in her umbrella, encoded. Hence why he always tells her to take it with her, and she's unknown to this, but what better way to have it and keep it guarded than to give it to someone else instead of keeping it on yourself. We also learn that even though he told Cho to go steal the money from the safe, it was nothing in the safe, as the two meet up in a dark alley later on in the day. Of course, Cho is upset because he said, you risked my life basically to go in here and get this money, but nothing's there. So he gives Cho the $20,000, to calm him down. However, as soon as Cho turns around, he muffles his mouth up and stabs him in the back, because we get the most gritty agent ever. Like, this guy's raw. He is gutter. Not only is he a loan shark, he's a spy as well, and he's killing people to cover up loose ends, as he covered up the murder of Cho, saying that it would just look like it was a robbery, as he left I think he probably left some of the money. I don't exactly know what he did, but he said he's going to cover up his death by making it look like a robbery. And of course it can't be any loose ends, because I'm pretty sure Cho at least had some type of idea what he was doing if he had to go in and go to his safe. Now that Cho's out the way, this agent actually goes back and reports to someone other than Yuki, making the plot thicken a little bit. I know this episode is called Double Joker, so perhaps he's being a double agent, because this person that he reported to tells him, welcome to the Wind Agency. Now, who is the Wind Agency? Apparently 6 months ago, with the suspicion of the D agency and Colonel Yuki doing what he wants to do with his own unit, the government isn't cool with that, or at least the Japanese military isn't cool with that, as Yuki's morals about the D agency is, I'm not going to use any war college people, I'm not going to use any military people, I'm just going to use my own people off the streets trained for me. That doesn't sit well with the military because they don't have control over them. So they made their own sect of people to counteract the D agency called the Wind Agency, who pretty much have the same morals. Now, what the Wind Agency are up to, they're trying to get the grand strategy as well. So now you have a race between the Wind Agency and the D Agency, as the two are going to lock horns to try to either get to the Japanese person who's going to take the information to the British, or get the information from the British itself. Either way, it's a race to stop this intel from flowing through. However, they don't exactly trust the Wind Agency either, because they're looking like, if you guys fail, then what would be the point? You're no good, you're no better than the D Agency. So their stipulation for this Wind Agency is, whoever fails, whether it be the Wind Agency or the D Agency, they're going to be ones that take the fall if shit hits the fan. So now we have one of the D Agency members inside of the Wind Agency. Also, something that I kind of noticed is that, just like last week, how you can pretty much tell even though all the characters look alike, this agent this week is the one who, in the opening, they show him and then you see a gunshot and goes through his head. I've been asking for either a betrayal or somebody to get killed in this series, because the spy world isn't squeaky clean, and we might just get that with this agent next week. So this pretty much closes our episode, as now we know it's going to be two teams of people going after one. Will our agent be in too deep and try to apprehend, or would he be in too deep undercover where he can't get out, or is he a double agent? What's going on with him? We don't know. But the thing is, we actually have another episode to actually flesh this out a little bit more and find out what's going on, instead of it having some type of twist in the last 2 or 3 minutes and then abruptly explaining everything else from there. So that's the episode in a nutshell. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're on this video, and obviously you're still watching Joker Game just like me, so I want to hear what you guys think as well. I've already given my thoughts again. I think in the end, I don't know. I just kind of got a feeling that somebody's going to betray the D Agency for what they think is the better good, or because they're going to be so deep undercover that they're not going to have a choice. And it seems like maybe our agent may be in too deep, as we never had an agent that got really in trouble in this series. They always got their way out somehow, no matter how deep they're in. This sense of danger is kind of picking up, at least I feel it is with this episode. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. If you like the video, go ahead and drop it a like. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as I'm bringing you guys content almost every day right now. As on that note, be sure to join me tomorrow as I review Bungo Stray Dogs. Thursday, I will have a live reaction to the Hunter x Hunter manga, as well as a One Piece chapter review, as well as a Kabaneri review. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me, and I really appreciate that. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Thanks for joining me. It's your boy Infrar-Ed signing out. See you soon.